a brother, you won't even see me. This brother was down here in Charleston, Tommy, and I was living in Memphis. He had to ask Lester, hey man, who's that brother right there? The point is because you didn't see me. And like most of these brothers, when I come back, and these kids, they don't know nothing about me. They think I'm some Terrence or Tommy that moved in town. But I was born and raised in Charleston. And what I saw in Charleston is economics. I don't have to talk about whether I believe you can go and buy a plot of land and do something. I saw black men and black women doing it. And you know what was the center of that? The church. So if a preacher can't stand up and take his rightful position, because the Bible says that everything that goes on in my village, when Israel was out there in the wilderness, they perished because of the preacher, the teacher, the prophet, because God gave a man a word to go and speak to the people, and they refused to speak it. So every man and woman has to know their job, and when you don't have that calling, you have to back up. You can mix all you want, but until the real men, and I'm talking about the men of God, get up and take this fake indoctrination off the table, it's going to always be killing. Don't fool yourself. What we have to do is know that we're either chasing fables or we can digest real doctrine. Any man in here that believes in God must know. He said, if you do this, you get this. And if you don't, you get this. He ain't putting a whole lot of isms on the table. Those people on the other side of the tracks can pull off the Azalea Festival without a hitch. You know why? Because whatever church they go to, they come on one accord. We have to come on one accord. And we have to call those who will not do what they are. Brother, there's no kick against you. We're not going to fight you. We don't need you in that because you're still displaying negative activity. You have to stand up and make sure that these children see a great example of men doing what they're supposed to do. Women have their place, but I'm telling you, brothers, they watching men, sisters. They watching men. They watching men go in houses and tear them up. They watching men set examples that will destroy not only a people, a nation of people. And that's because we as men, I'm talking about black men, have never stood up and took our rightful position. Have never realized that we are not the students, we are the teachers. And in order to be a real effective teacher, you have to back away from a whole lot of stuff. I hear men, sometimes we have to get incarcerated. Sometimes we come into it. But he said, get it while you're young. Get that knowledge to realize that, man, and recognize that generation that's out here right now, they're only in a void because we have allowed them. When they see you 50-year-old, I'm talking people who had foundational teaching, who saw somebody say, like this brother said, I dare you to go and say Miss Mabel lied on me. My mama would have knocked my teeth out my mouth. But my point to you is it didn't just happen in Charleston. It was all over. It was in Chicago. It was in New York. It was in L.A. But there became a void when the TV got to be on 24 hours a day. When the message got to be perpetuated where now you can't even control. I got a 5 and a 7-year-old home right now. And if I tell them it's time to go to bed at 11, I can go and take a bathroom break, use the bathroom at 3 in the morning, and I can look under the door and see the TV on. And if I don't take the remote controls out the room, so we'll let other things entertain them. We'll let other things teach them. But what we have failed to realize, I've been in a lot of big cities, and you know what got me a problem? Not because I was the toughest guy in the world, because I know how to say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, and I mean, yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. That got me over. And it was a kind game, but thank God that them old people taught me that, because they lived in a situation where oppression was real. If you think more people are dying on the street by the hands of policemen, then you don't know nothing about your history. You don't know nothing about your history, and you need to shut up. Because when people were really oppressed, I can take you way back further than the transatlantic slave trade. We had not a chance. We have always been the hunted. So we have to learn to come in and police our own household. We have to learn that I'm not snitching on you, brother. I'm telling you I'm going to tell on you. I don't have to hide from you. I'm telling you, as long as you're victimizing my talk to you. And if you come and see me, I'm going to tell you. If you lay your cards on the table, you're a victim. You're a victimizer, man. You're a hustler. You're a schemer. Well, oh, Dick, you can't tell me that. Nigga, your actions speak louder than words. I'm calling it what I see. Now, if you want me to call you something else, do something else.
Yeah. I want to say that, me and Brother Nick, we have these conversations all the time about what can we do for our community, and what examples that we set as men and women for our community. I grew up in this Charleston was a community where I grew up. I love to play basketball. I love to play football. I love to do all these things. Then the turn came. You get up in the age where you start watching older guys, older, you start doing things that the desire kicks in. New cars, Rams, and different things like this in the nation, it kicks in. And then you become part of that. And when you become part of that, you become part of the problem. Because it got to the point where the father was no longer in the home anymore. They was in prison. I was so scared of my daddy. I'm talking about like fear. But he ended up going to prison. The fear was no longer exist anymore. And I became who I wanted to be in the streets. And the streets raised me. And the streets have no love for anybody. When I say nobody, it has no love for anybody. When I was, my grandmother, when I was just a little kid, I was 6, 7, 8 years, I have to be at church on Sundays. Ain't no such thing not going, you have to go. Nowadays, kids don't have to go to church, they don't have to learn the word, they don't have to learn anything. All we do is give them things that's not good, like it's like Media was saying, we give them shoes and things of that nature. When I was going to school, I had pro wings on, might have to wear the same pants twice. But it wasn't like it was a joke because everybody was wearing the same thing or doing the same thing. But nowadays, it's different. It's totally different. Where it's our job as men and women to correct our community. And it's got to start with us. I was telling Tom today, we probably got about three or four liquor stores. But we got more churches than liquor stores in Charleston. We have more churches than liquor stores in Charleston. But we are the worst. Charleston is the worst. Sice and Cake, no one compared to us. We are the worst. And not only that, we influence other towns around us. It's our job to bring, I'm talking about me. I can't speak on nobody, but I'm speaking on me first. I'm talking about me because I'm part of the problem. But I understand that God is saying, "Me, why is you part of the problem?" It's been plenty of situations that you was in that you asked me, you prayed to me, that you allowed me to get out. Something I couldn't control on my own, but God can. Media says the things that I always believe in. I see people pray for things that God gave me the ability to already get. So a lot of times I just think for us as community, we to have me, Miguel, Pastor Cassell, and Floyd Wade, we had many talks. The brother Lester, we have a lot of talks, but we never have any action. We have a lot of talks like this. We have a talk like this, and we probably don't come back together for a whole 8 months or till somebody dies. We have to stop waiting till people die or start waiting till the problem to come and say, "Hey, look, let's do this now." Or we have to stand on it, love, like he said. Charleston was before, when I was coming, it was filled with love. It's that love, I'm talking about love. To the point where I remember when Tommy, he moved here. He moved from Chicago and he came down here because it was love. And I looked, to see him come through in his Corvettes and his cars, I was like, wow. I was young, I was influenced by that. to this day, I'm still part of that problem. Influencing kids, not by what I say, but what I do. I always tell them something good, but they're not going by what I'm saying. They need to see that. Like their brother was saying, they need to see that. They need to see what they do. Now here's my thing. I got 2 kids that's graduated from high school. Both of them going to college. Both of them got scholarships. Every day I tell them, why might I never catch you in these streets? They're not in the streets at all. Period. They go home, they go to school, they finish school, they're going to go to college. And I'm gonna make sure, as long as I'm here, they're gonna do something good with their life, because I don't want them to be like me. I don't want them to have that thinking that it's okay to be something. That's been our problem, where the streets have took over what we believe in. Or this is the way we shall be, or we're not gangster, or we're not real. That was foolishness. That's what the streets did. They taught us foolishness. Not teaching us what we should be doing as men. To take care of our women, take care of our kids, and be there. And it's our job right now to take it back with love. My first loving each other. It was when I tell you this, when I told Tommy, I said, man, I think it's impossible for you to get Raymond to squash that. Like when I'm talking about, I thought it was impossible. I said, man, I just said a million people to holler at Raymond, man, it's impossible. But God, because he believed in it, it's hard that he could do it. I thought he was foolish, but he did it. But you know, I was so happy. This a blessing. The brother Dick, I said, Dick, don't you know me? And the brother Raymond, we cool. We made a video. Dick said, man, get on out of here. I don't believe it. But it was real. Not only that, I got a million calls of people saying, man, you know what? I called somebody, I've been in touring for a long time. I seen that, I had to do it. So I'm just saying, by the things that we do, people believe. Not what you say, it's what you do. And that's what we have to do. We have to do these things. We have to put away our foolish ways. We have to become, in the community, I have talked with them sisters right there, and they beautiful, man. They have a great spirit, and they always talk about their community. What can we do? Sometimes we can get away from our own plan. And to know better is to do better. When a person knows better and not doing, they're worse than the people that actually don't know no better. What all I just want to say is that let's not just talk. Let's actually do something. Let's actually just really bring something in our black community. Like the sisters always say, what about the west side? They always say, the west side. They said, I'm not buying no house over there. I'm buying a house in my neighborhood. This is where I was born at. They're not afraid, they're not scared, they still live here, ain't have a problem. Because they have faith and they believe in God. And with that said, it's up to us to just come together in our community. And I'm talking about me first. I ain't speaking to nobody, I'm talking about me, myself. I have to do better.